Chapter 5 Introduction to Pip's Great Expectations. It was during the 4th year of my apprenticeship with Joe on a Saturday night when something extraordinary happened. A mysterious gentleman sat across from us, watching intently. Eventually, he stood up and approached us, asking for Mr. Joe Gargery, the blacksmith, and his apprentice Pip. Although he didn't recognize me, I immediately knew who he was. The man I had once passed on the staircase at Miss Havisham's house. "I need to speak with both of you privately," he said. "It will take time. Let's go to your home." We walked back to our house in confused silence. Once there, we sat down in the parlor, and he introduced himself. "My name is Jaggers. I'm a lawyer from London. I've come on behalf of someone else with very unusual business. This must be kept strictly confidential." He turned to Joe. "Now, Joseph Gargery, I am the bearer of an offer to release this young man from his apprenticeship. Would you have any objection to cancelling Pip's indentures, if it's for his benefit? And would you expect any payment for doing so?" Joe, surprised and wide-eyed, replied, "God forbid I should stand in Pip's way. My answer is no. I want nothing." "Good. Bear that in mind, will you?" said Mr. Jaggers. "Now, Pip, listen carefully. You have great expectations." Joe and I gasped and stared at each other in wonder. "I've been instructed to tell you," Jaggers went on, "that you will come into a good fortune. The person providing this money insists that you leave your current home and trade and be raised as a gentleman, someone worthy of his future wealth." My heart raced. It was happening. The wild dreams I had secretly held were actually coming true. Surely it had to be Miss Havisham behind this. "Now, Mr. Pip," continued the lawyer, "you will always keep the name Pip, you agree?" My heart was beating fast, and there was a singing in my ears. I could hardly speak, but nodded. "Good. Secondly, your benefactor must remain anonymous until they choose to reveal themselves. It could be many years. You are not to ask questions or try to find out. Do you understand?" Again I stammered, "Yes." "Excellent. There's already money set aside for your education and living expenses. I will be your guardian. You will go to a proper tutor. I have someone in mind, Mr. Matthew Pocket." That name I recognized, one of Miss Havisham's relatives. I thanked him. "You are to leave next Saturday," said Mr. Jaggers. "Before then you will need new clothes, not work clothes." He took out 20 guineas and pushed them toward me. "Use this for your new outfit. When you arrive in London, you will go to Mr. Pocket's son. He will take you to his father's house." Mr. Jaggers looked at Joe pointedly and then told him, "I was told to give you something as compensation." "For what?" asked Joe firmly. "For losing Pip's services." Joe put his strong soot-covered hand gently on my shoulder and said, "Pip is welcome to go after honor and fortune, but if you think money could ever replace the loss of the boy who's been like a son to me, who worked beside me at the forge, then you are wrong." Oh, dear Joe, whom I was so ready to leave, could speak no more, and his voice died away, as he raised his blacksmith's arm to wipe his eyes. Mr. Jaggers stood. "Well, Mr. Pip, the sooner you leave, the better it is. Come straight to me in London in a hackney coach." After Mr. Jaggers left, we all sat around the fire. My sister silent in her chair, Biddy at her needlework, and Joe beside her. "Joe," I said, "have you told Biddy?" "No, Pip," replied Joe. "I left it to you." "I would rather you told Joe." Joe nodded. "Pip is a gentleman now. God bless him." Biddy dropped her sewing and looked at me. Joe held his knees and looked at me. I looked at both of them. After a pause, they both heartily congratulated me, but with a certain touch of sadness that I resented. "Joe," I said, "when I order my clothes, I'll have them sent to Mr. Pumblechook's. I would not like to be stared at." Biddy asked me, Have you thought when you'll next visit us? Biddy, I replied, a little annoyed. You're too quick to keep up with. She said no more, and I went up to my room. I didn't sleep well that night, and I never again rested as peacefully in that bed. Joe and Biddy never brought up my leaving unless I did. When I talked about it, they were kind and supportive. Joe even burned my indentures in the fire, officially ending my apprenticeship. What lay heaviest on my mind was that 6 days lay between me and the day of departure, and I only hoped that London might not have deteriorated in that period. That Sunday my thoughts drifted back to the convict I had once helped in the marshes. I was relieved to believe he was now far away, perhaps even dead. No more wet grounds and marshes, no more cattle in the fields. Henceforth I was going to London, not back to the forge. So Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday passed, and on Friday morning I went to Pumblechook's to try my new suit. I took a long route to Miss Havisham's and rang the bell. Sarah Pocket opened the gate and led me to Miss Havisham, who was exercising, leaning on her crutch stick. I'm leaving for London tomorrow, I told her. I thought you would kindly not mind my taking leave of you. You've become quite a gentleman, she said, slightly touching me with her stick like a fairy godmother. I've come into good fortune, I said gratefully. I thank you, Miss Havisham. She smiled, pleased to see Sarah Pocket squirm. Yes, I've heard about it from Mr. Jaggers. So you're being adopted by someone rich, and your guardian is Mr. Jaggers. And you go tomorrow, Pip? Yes, Miss Havisham. Well then, be good. Have a bright future ahead. Follow Mr. Jaggers' instructions. Goodbye, Pip, and remember, you'll always be called Pip. Yes, ma'am. She stretched out her hand, and I went down on my knee, kissed her hand, and left. As I glanced back, I saw her standing beside the old wedding cake, leaning on her crutch stick. The 6 days had passed quickly. I found myself growing more grateful for Joe and Biddy's presence. On my last evening, I put on my new clothes to please them, though none of us really felt cheerful. I want to leave alone tomorrow, I told Joe. Morning came, I got dressed and had a tasteless breakfast. Well, I guess it's time to go, I said. I kissed my sister, then Biddy, and threw my arms around Joe. Then, taking up my little portmanteau, I walked out. The last I saw was Joe throwing an old shoe after me for luck, followed by Biddy with the other. I stopped and waved my hat. Joe waved back, shouting, "Hooray!" while Biddy wiped her eyes with her apron. I walked away quickly, trying to whistle to hide my emotions. The village was quiet, the mist filling gently as though showing me the world I was about to enter. At the edge of town, I placed my hand on the finger-post and answered, "Goodbye, my dear friend. We should never be ashamed of our tears, for they are like rain upon the blinding dust of earth that covers our hearts." I felt better after crying and wished I had let it out earlier. Then I should have had Joe with me for support. Soon I was on the coach and it got clear of the town. As we changed horses, I wondered if I should return home and say a proper goodbye, but I didn't. I stayed on the coach. We changed horses again and again and again. And soon I was far beyond the marshes. The mists had lifted and the world lay spread before me.